Now, Brian, before we get to the results, we heard Joe Biden speak just moments ago. We're awaiting possibly President Trump to speak. What would you expect to hear from the president?
Basically the same thing that we have heard from Vice President Joe Biden, and that is that they're hopeful on the Republican side of the ticket. A number of these states are still outstanding. There's a pathway to victory for Joe Biden very clearly, especially with his lead. And at this point, Julie, Donald Trump really almost needs to run the table of the rest of these states to win this thing.
Yeah, what do you make of the numbers so far, Brian? We saw Arizona turn blue tonight. Any other surprises so far besides Arizona?
Not really. Much of what we expected occurred. Arizona's the one flip state that occurred. We will have to see how these other states that are out there, the Wisconsin's, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Nevada, I expect to go to Biden, but we'll see. In those states, there are a lot of electoral college votes. Michigan 16, Pennsylvania 20, North Carolina 15, Georgia 16, Wisconsin 10, and Nevada 6.
So, Brian, if you're in the Biden camp, what are you thinking right now? If you're in the Trump camp, what are you thinking right now? We all know what President Trump had to do based on the polls, and it seems like so far, pretty much everything has broken toward President Trump.
So far, but we will have to see what happens in those states I just mentioned. At the end of the day, Joe Biden has to be feeling very good, and Democrats have to be feeling very good tonight. At the end of the day, though, once again, we have a country that is essentially split down the middle on who they want as president. And we'll have to break it down later, Frank, as to whether there was a shift in, say, the Hispanic Latino vote, in the black vote, and these other folks around the country and among women to see who was voting for whom.
Hey, Brian, I want to ask you, obviously, a lot of eyes on the Midwest, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, just some of the states you mentioned. Kind of mixed signals, though, because Minnesota was called pretty quickly for Joe Biden, President Trump winning Ohio in a big way. Do you glean anything from those neighboring states as to what we may expect in the Midwest?
It's possible that Donald Trump takes two of those. We remember that he eked out a victory in Wisconsin against Hillary Clinton. He may win that again tonight, but Georgia, North Carolina, big gets for Trump if he gets them. It jacks up his electoral college votes by a significant number. Greg, we could come down to something that is razor thin at the end of this, at the end of the counting. But we've got a lot of counting to do.
Yeah, still a lot of votes to go, still a long way to go. It still could be a couple of days based on what those election officials in those Midwest states have told us. Brian Sobel, thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely.